Welcome back to That's Clever. I'm Angela Martinez. Now we're going to head to Baltimore, Maryland. We'll drop in on this artist who's hosting her very own masquerade.
Hi, I'm Tiger Toriotis, and I live in Baltimore, Maryland. I'm a leather crafter, and I love making leather masks. And I have a mask for every occasion. And today, I'm going to make this leather Monarch Butterfly mask. This is where I'll be working today. I have everything I need set out. Leather working tools, and my pattern. The first thing I need to do to make my mask is to take this pattern and put it onto the leather. Once I've located the right spot, I'm going to take carbon paper. Carbon paper goes between the mask and the leather, and this is going to transfer the pattern for me. I'm going to take thumbtacks, and I'm going to poke through where the elastic holes will eventually be. This helps keep everything aligned properly and marks where the elastic holes have to go. I grew up on a horse farm, and for as long as I can remember, I was repairing tack, and that means working with leather. So I got my start early on working with leather. I got glue all over me. I'm going to take the pattern and the carbon paper off, and I'm going to cut the mask out of the leather. I'm going to come back in with a craft knife and do all of the fine cuts. I am going to punch some holes. Sturdy mallet, and my hole punch. Now the first two holes are where the elastics will eventually go through. The second set of holes is going to go right on either side of the butterfly's head, and those are to make it easier to cut out this piece. And with those done, I'm going to finish cutting the outline of the mask out. Now that I've cut out the outline, the last thing to do is cut out the eye holes. I've cut out the outline, the eye holes, and the elastic holes are punched. Now I need to start carving. This carving tool actually takes leather out and leaves an impression into the leather. Not all of these lines match up exactly with the pattern, but that's okay because no two butterflies are exactly alike. Now that I've carved all the lines, I'm going to go upstairs and I'm going to saturate the mask in water. Once the bubbles stop coming up, I know the leather is completely saturated. Then I'm going to pull it out of the water, and in a little while it will be ready to mold. It's a little drier and it's going to hold its shape better so it's ready to be molded. I use a foam head to rest the mask on, but first I have to put all the shaping in. And that's done with these hands. I'm going to put the basic bridge of the nose shape in. Hi. This is what I use for curves. This is where years of practice come in. I have to give the butterfly his buggy eyes. This tool is actually a rivet setter, but it's got a nice little concave portion, and it's going to put a round indent into the leather. Now comes the fun part. Just one final check in the mirror to make sure that everything looks good and the mask looks great. And now it's time to put on the elastics. The mask is ready to sit on this foam head. That's going to keep its face shape intact while it dries. I'm actually going to pin the mask in place. And I'm going to let it dry for 24 hours. Now that the mask is dry, I'm going to put its base coat on. This will be a coat of black leather dye, and I really want to protect both the surface I'm working on and my clothes. This is my favorite apron. Gloves are important, otherwise I would have black splotches all over my hands for the next 2 weeks. Leather dye gets on everything and stays there. It's usually a good idea to have good ventilation because, wow, fumes. The leather dye is one of the many layers of protection against moisture. Moisture is the enemy of a mask's shape. I'm done with the black dye. Now I'm going to move on to a layer of liquid leather sealer. This is the first seal coat that goes on. I learned very early on when I was doing this that a lot of sealer on the back is a good idea. I had someone sweat in a mask and then come back with a very purple face. I'm going to rest it down for a while, and it's going to need to dry for about an hour. The sealer is done, and it's dry. And now I'm going to start on the orange base coat. The paints that I'm using are specifically designed acrylics meant to move and bend with the leather, and this means that they won't crack as easily. I've got my orange base coat done, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to do the black work detail on the mask. I'm using a thin tipped ink pen to just go right into the carved lines. I'm going to put on all of the white and off-white detail work. All of the painting is done. I've done all of the finishing details. I've added a layer of aerosol leather sealer, and I've painted the back. I have one last thing to do, my signature. Here it is. My beautiful Monarch Butterfly mask is all finished.